the next slide. Okay, so we're about to go into the delivery room of destiny. What did I say? This is where we want to birth things that have been seated inside of us. And please, I want you to pay attention. It's important because what you're going to hear today is going to steer you into becoming much more. We want to close the gap between what God showed you and what the world needs to see. I know that you're going to be taking notes because you have to take notes. You have to take notes. And when you're taking notes, don't just take notes because you're copying some things. Take what you are hearing in your spirit. Write it down. Do you get? So we want to close the gap between what God showed you and what the world needs to see. Okay, let's move on. Okay? Now, this is a statistics, and I put this together so that, I put this there so that you can know how it's affecting people generally and not just you. Hundreds of thousands of times monthly across Google alone, people are always searching for purpose. People are searching to understand. How many of us have ever Googled before how to understand purpose? Or you search something about purpose? Let me see. Yeah, so you're part of the statistics. You're part of the hundreds of thousands of people. You are part of them. Hundreds of thousands of people are always searching to understand purpose. A whole lot of people, whether they're searching on AI, they're searching on Google, they're searching on YouTube. Why? Because everybody knows that we are not just, in fact, even people that deny it, they know that there has to be something about me. There has to be something about my existence. You can't tell me that I'm here just to occupy a space. I'm not here just to, even if you're here to study, I mean like in an higher institution, what are you going to do with what you've learned? Or how does it contribute to to you being fulfilled as an individual? So people know that they are not just here for being here, or they're not just here as matter. That's why everybody is searching. Purpose is something that we've talked about so much. There are so many books about purpose, and yet people are still asking questions about purpose. So that's why some of us also, we have Googled about purpose. Now, if you go to the next slide, it says, in every study done on the search for meaning, do you know that women are at the forefront? It means that, just like us that are here, that we've Googled about purpose, women are, if not the highest number of people, like the highest gender that is searching for the meaning of purpose or searching for meaning of their own existence. But here's something I want you to know. 80% of people believe that purpose exists for them. 60% say they found it, but only 30% can say that they are actually truly working in it. A lot of times we want to understand purpose. We stop at what is purpose. We stop at, oh, okay, I have a purpose to fulfill. We do not exactly go beyond knowing that I have a purpose. And that's why if I ask some people today, whether you're online or in the room, can you say that you are actually fulfilling purpose? Many of us can't answer. Many of us can't answer. And I'm not going to blame us. It's because we do not have the knowledge that we need to work in the how. A lot of time, it stops at the what, or it stops at the why. We've never started working in the how. And then if you move to the next slide, you see something. Yet, purpose is inevitable because your existence is proof that your contribution is necessary. If you were not needed, you will not be here at all. But now that you are here, the question is not that whether you will contribute, but the question is how. The fact that you are alive, the fact that you are sitting, you are breathing, is enough proof that your contribution is necessary. It's enough proof that your existence is necessary. But the question now is not whether you are going to contribute. The question is, how will you do that? That's where we talk about the impact. So many of us are certain. We know that we ought to live a purposeful life. But the question now is, what are you doing about making your own contribution to the world? What are you doing about really making that impact? And so if you move on to the next one, you see that it is possible for you to glide through life without acknowledging that your presence matters. And that is a lie. You were sent with a mission already written into your arrival. Your contribution to the world will either build or burn it. Let me tell you something you do not know. You know, I said that when you see yourself, don't perceive yourself as an individual. You're not an individual. You're actually a nation because everything you do affects generations unborn. Do you know that the decisions you make today will affect the children that will come from you? Do you know that? Do you know that the decisions that you're making today are affecting your roommates, affecting people, maybe your siblings, affecting anybody that is one way or the other connected to you? But one thing you do not know is those actions and decisions that you are making or taking, they are either burning the world, they are either contributing to building it, or they are contributing to destroying it. One way or the other, whatever it is you are doing, is either making the world a better place, making lives better, or actually destroying it. And do you know that if you are not intentional about making people's lives better, you'll be doing the opposite? And I know that some of us have said, maybe we bake, we do some things, but it's beyond that. It's beyond selling a product. It's beyond selling a product. Because I would actually ask you, so can you tell me how this product is contributing towards making lives better? If you've not found that intersection, then you still have work to do. Do you understand what I'm saying? It means that, and you would actually see that we're not just here. You would actually see that we're not just here so that we can make an income for ourselves. We're not just here so that you can, because some of us were doing some things just to earn. It's not enough to just earn. It's not enough to just earn. There are people that have so much money now, but they look at themselves and feel like their lives are still meaningless. Because earning is not the goal. Whatever skill you are doing that gives you money, it's not the goal. There is something, you have to find that intersection. And that is what we want to talk about. There is something much more to you just earning money. There is something much more to you just selling a product so that you can have something you want to purchase. Let's talk about purpose. Are we writing? Yes. Purpose is a growing understanding of how your existence at every stage of life should contribute to aligning people and systems of the earth to kingdom values and culture. I know that I've said so much, but what I want to say about purpose is this. Sometimes we feel, we believe that purpose is just one line. If you've not heard that statement, you feel like you don't know what purpose is. But no, not necessarily. Purpose is not necessarily one statement. It is something, it is a progressive revelation of how you ought to align people and the systems of this world back to God's kingdom and back to his own values. It is not a one statement. It's not, it's not just, I am called to be this, or I am this, or I reach out to this. There is so much more to that. But you cannot step into the fullness of understanding what it is all about if you are not working progressively with God. It's a progressive revelation. If you put a limit to what you think purpose is, you'll actually be limiting yourself. Because when God comes and says, I have another assignment to give to you, you are thinking, but this was not part of the plan in the beginning. But you also have to know that whatever, in the next slide, you see that whatever you are currently doing, wherever you are investing your time and energy, must be directly connected to purpose or preparing you for it. So ask yourself, what I am doing now, what I am investing my time and energy to now, how is it contributing towards fulfilling purpose? Or how is it preparing me for purpose? And you must know that your time is life. If you spend your time on the wrong things long enough, you will have wasted not just hours, but you will actually waste your years. That's why we're having this meeting. Because some people are we are dilly-dallying with our lives. Do you get? We are dilly-dallying with our lives. And as we waste time, we're actually wasting lives. As we waste time, we are wasting lives. Like you're wasting your life. But God does not want you to get to that point. So whatever you are investing your time to must either be connected to your purpose directly or preparing you for purpose. That's why I said, even with the skills and everything we are doing, you must know that there's actually an intersection. And if you've not found that intersection, you still have work to do. And this is a call for you to recalibrate. What does recalibrate simply mean? It means that you correct your direction before it is too late. This is where you actually stop and check and know that I have to make the adjustments. There are adjustments that you may have to make so that you can be able to go back on track. Can we hear what I'm saying? Are we following? Do you understand what I'm saying? It means that you have to sort of do like an evaluation of yourself, where you are now, where you are heading, and ask yourself, what I am doing daily, how I am investing my time, what I'm investing my energy to, how is it moving me forward in the direction that God wants me to go? How is it moving me forward in the direction that God wants me to go? Now, when we now talk about impact, we've talked about purpose a lot. I think that's the next slide. When we now talk about impact used to look like a very big word, but it's not. It's not a big word. It's not something that is beyond your reach. It is simply a measurable difference of how your existence, of the difference that your existence makes in the world. So that's what impact is. Impact is it's not even about just the future. It's about where you are. So for instance, you are a student, you are an entrepreneur, you are a business person. How is your existence making a difference in the world with whatever it is you are doing? That's just what impact is all about. How am I making the world a better place? Because if whatever it is you are doing is still centered on you, it's still feeding you, it's still catering for your needs, that's not impact. You're actually being self-centered. Because the resources that God gave you is not just for you. It's not to feed your belly, it's to feed lives. I know someone that's her mandate, called not to feed just bellies, but to feed lives. That's her mandate. So if anything you're doing now is still centered on you, that's not impact. But I also want you to know that impact is not about what you're going to do in the future. It's about what you're doing now. Impact is about what you're doing now. And like I said, there is a significant revelation and execution gap. I think that's the next slide. And that is what I want to talk about today. I want to share some things about that before our panelist comes in. I want to show you some things that you need for you to move from, okay, I know that I'm called to do this. I know that I want to do this. I have this desire in my heart. I see this problem, I want to solve it. To actually doing it. Like I said, it's not something you do in the future. Today's future or today's tomorrow is actually, today is the future of yesterday. Yes. When we were young, we were saying, I want to become this in the future. I want to study this in the future. You are studying it now. Whether you studied because you wanted or not. You are studying it now. And some of us right now, we are saying, maybe I want to be a pastor's wife, or I want to be the president. Okay, but it's not about 10, 20 years. It's actually something that is not even far away. It's not far away again. So we are saying that what are the things that we need to move from where we are now in terms of my understanding of this is what I want to do to actually doing them. And then I want to share the things that you actually need. Number one, you need a map. And that is your vision. We're going to talk about them specifically. Number two, you need a tool, and that is your gift. Number three, you need a workshop, and that is your growth. Number four, you need a mirror, and that is your model. Number five, you need output, and that is value. Did you get what I said? Number one, you need a map, and that is your vision. Number two, you need a tool, and that is your gift. Number three, you need a workshop, and that is your growth. Number four, you need a mirror, and that is your model. Number five, you need output, and that is value. Now, let's talk about everything one by one. Let's talk about the vision. Before you can actually move, you need a map. And this vision is the God-given image of the future that your life is meant to build towards. What does a vision mean? Simply means, this is what vision simply means. Whatever it is that you can see or you believe that God has showed you, whatever it is that you can see and you can capture in your mind, that's actually a vision. Like, based on whatever it is God is showing you, what you can perceive about it as a person, when you're able, whatever it is you're able to capture, that is simply what a vision is. And sometimes it doesn't have to come the same way everybody got theirs. For instance, it can come as a burden in your heart. Like that sister that shared that she doesn't like, okay, for instance, she shared that she wants to see ladies who get married and they are doing well in marriage. It came from a burden. That's your vision. It could come from a scripture. Maybe you are reading the Bible, a scripture jumped at you, and you feel like, this defines what I want to do with my life. It can come as a prophetic word. Maybe somebody spoke a declaration over you. You know, some of us, when we were growing up, when we were born, they told our parents, this child is going to be this child is going to be that. And that prophecy, they have mentioned it over and over again over your life. A vision can come out from that. It can also come from a strong desire. But what I want you to know is that without that vision, you can't actually move at all because that's your map. Can you actually now ask yourself, do I really have a vision? If you don't have a vision, you can't actually move towards fulfilling purpose. Do you understand what I'm saying? That vision is your map. Do you have a vision? Do you have a vision? That vision is your map. And that's the first thing you need. Number two, you need your gifts. Like you need to identify your gifts. There's something that you've been blessed with, and that's your tool. That's your advantage. That's your strength. What is it that you have received? For instance, it can be an area of an uncommon grace. You see that when you display or when you use that gift, you get tremendous results. For me, that I know that one of it is encouragement. I have someone that tells me that I'm an encourager. But when I speak to people, they don't feel like they get back on their feet. I know that it's a gift. So I know that it's not just about speaking, but it's about being able to propel people into doing whatever it is that God has called them to do. It can be a special ability that sets you apart. That's why I was asking, what is it about you that makes you unique? It can be an ability that people just feel like, how do you have this? How are you able to do this? You know, some people are gifted when it comes to maybe drawing. You see them painting and you're like, how? That's even before maybe they learned it or something. It could be something that comes naturally to you, but it's difficult for others. It could be something that people consistently come to you for, maybe advice. It could be something that you can even do, even without being paid or recognition. But until you deploy what you carry, there will always be a gap because that gift is your tool. Do we understand what I'm saying? After you have a clear picture, like you have a vision, you now need to identify what are the gifts that I've been gifted, I've received, because that is actually the tool that you need to move forward with actually executing anything that God has called you to do. Oh, I think I closed the Zoom. Please let me check if it's still active. Okay. Number 3, what did I say number 3 was? Let me ask you a question. How many of us are intentionally committed to growth? Let me see your hands. You are intentionally committed to growth. I don't mean growth in maybe like your skill or like you intentionally go and learn your skill. But how many of us can say that we are intentionally committed to growth? Nobody? Wow, we need to repent. What exactly do I mean by growth? See, if you're not intentionally committed to growth, there's no way that you could become capable of doing whatever it is that you ought to do. I didn't get here by magic. It's not magic. I can tell you it's actually not magic. If you're not intentionally learning, if you're not, and growth can be through, for instance, maybe you are intentionally looking out for some courses, some conferences, meetings like this, some books. It could also be through formal education, for instance, your certificates. It could be through mentorship and discipleship. It could be through spiritual formation. But what it means is that if you are someone who is not intentionally committed to growth, let me tell you, time can be passing, but you are not growing, you are not advancing, and there's no way you're going to fulfill anything. Time will pass. People will go ahead and do stuff. You will still remain at the level that you are. Are we making a pledge that we're going to change today? You will still remain at the level that you are. Because growth is what makes you capable of actually becoming the person that you were called to be. There are some things about your personality that you actually don't need for your purpose. There are some things also that you need to pick up by growth. There is a kind of knowledge you need to have that it won't jump on you if you are not intentionally committed to growth. And nobody forces anybody to grow. It is a desire. It is something you have to choose to be. See, let me tell you, it is not about, that's why I said you can't just sit down and settle for, even if you are earning whatever it is you are earning, you can't settle for at that level. Because one way or the other, if you even have a bigger picture regarding what you're doing, you still need to grow to be able to get to that point. Number 4, what I said number 4 is, You need a mirror. That's a model. And I call this an image of transcendence. What this means is you need to find somebody around you or somebody that you know, whether you are directly connected to the person or not, who is already living the kind of life that you desire or you want to live. It can be a mentor. The person does not need to be directly in your space. It can be a pastor. It can be somebody in policy. It can be a political leader. But you have to pick a model. Do you know why? The moment you find that person, it gives you the understanding that everything I want to become, I can actually become, because I can see somebody living that life. I can see somebody walking in that reality. How many of us here have somebody who is like a model? Who you can say is a mirror? You do. Beautiful. You do. Somebody who you can say, this is the image of the person I desire to become. You need that kind of person because that's your mirror. Do you know why? Anytime you see that person, I want you to look at that person and not just see that person, but see yourself in that person's shoes. Not to copy the person, not to live the life that the person is living, but to see that whatever possibility this person is walking in can become my own reality. Do we understand? Now, what's the last thing? What's the last tool I said? I talked about value. Now, I want to say something about that. I think I have two more things I want to share quickly, but let me talk about value. Creating value is the point where your vision stops being personal and starts becoming useful. How valuable are you? How relevant are you? What is it that you are doing that if you are not doing that thing, lives were going to be at stake? What is it that you are doing that makes people know that I want to be connected to you, or I feel like something is dependent on whatever it is you are creating. And it can be a product, because if you create a product, you're actually solving a problem. It can be a product, it can be a service, it can be through teaching, it can be sharing your knowledge. But what value exactly are you creating? That's what impact is all about. Impact is not an abstract word. Making a contribution to your world is not an abstract word. It's just all about being valuable. Being valuable where you are. You are a student in your department. What makes you valuable? If you were not in that department, what will people say is missing because you were not there? In your family, can I ask that question? How many of you can say you're actually valuable in your family? I know you are valuable in terms of being loved. You came through your parents. But how is it that you contribute to that family that makes everybody know that if this person was not in this family, we won't be getting this kind of thing, or we won't be receiving this value, or we won't be receiving this benefit, or our lives will actually not be like this. And so that's why it's not about just a product. It doesn't even have to be maybe a service. It doesn't have to be a product. It could be you offering a service in terms of maybe volunteering. It could be you teaching somebody something. It could be you discipling somebody. It could be you mentoring someone. It could be you solving a problem. It could be even you maybe in the career space. But you have to think about how you want to create value. You have to think about what kind of change you want to make. That is when you can say you're actually fulfilling purpose. The reason why most of us don't work in that line is because we feel that we don't have the wealth that we need, or we don't have enough money to do that. But do you know that wealth is not just about money? It's not just about currency. Do you know that some of us are actually wealthy as we're sitting down, but we don't know? We don't know because you feel that you don't have a certain amount in your bank account. That's not only what wealth is about. The reason why I want to talk about wealth briefly is because sometimes we limit ourselves. We limit the kind of things we can do or we want to do because we think we don't have the resources for it. But you actually have the resources. You actually have it. Let's go to that slide on wealth. And simply put, what wealth is just a bank. Wealth is more or less like a bank of resources that you can deploy to make a meaningful difference in your world. That's just what wealth is. And that's why we have different forms of wealth. It's not just about money. You are wealthy as you are. You have enough. Do you know that you have what you need right now to make a difference at the level that you are? That's why I said that there might be some things that you have that you do not know. For instance, relationships. I'm not expecting that anybody will leave here today without connecting with someone, because somebody might have something that you need. Relationships, knowledge, time, resources, influence. Before you even talk about money, you have much more than you need to start creating impact at the level that you are. It means that even if you are a student, or you are a worker, or you are in career, or whatever it is you are doing, you have enough, or you are an entrepreneur, you have enough to actually start making an impact at the level that you are. And so I want you to ask yourself, I want you to answer some of these questions, but you answer them personally. Who do you know that has access, that has influence or resources that you've not actually called upon? There's definitely somebody around you in your circle that has some things or has access to something that you know that you need, but you've not leveraged. Do you know some of us, it might actually be our lecturers. It might be your classmates. It might be people that you even see in church. What have you learned through experiences that others are still trying to figure out? I'm very sure that you've had some experiences. You've gone through some things. Those things that you feel like are just your own experiences. There are things that when you share with people, it can actually impact, it can change a life, because that is the answer that the person needs to the questions that they carry. What will change if you just direct at least 5 hours a week towards what really matters, instead of wasting time scrolling online, instead of wasting time doing things that actually do not even contribute towards you being a purposeful person? If you redirect that time that you're spending into a purposeful contribution, don't you think that you actually make significant impact? What impact can you start creating right now with what you already have? What impact can you start creating right now with what you already have? You have relationships. I'm very sure that many of us here, we have friends. You have time. I mean, we don't have time. You have time. You have resources. You have influence at a particular level. For our lady here, we talked about work with children. You have influence over those children already. To an extent, they respect you. To an extent, they listen to you. What are you doing with that? What are you doing with the influence that you have over them? What are you doing with, you are baking, right? You are earning. Whatever it is that you are earning from that skill, what do you do with the money that comes in? Is it just to cater for your needs? Have you thought about putting your resources into solving a problem? Maybe a project. Maybe somebody that's in need. Maybe someone that doesn't have the opportunity that you had. Maybe someone who desires to be educated, but the person doesn't have that opportunity. Have you thought about what you can do with what you're already receiving that can make a change? But what I want to end with, I'll just close out this session on this. I want you to think about one thing that you can start today. Write it down. What is that one thing that I can start today? What is that one thing that I can stop? And what is that one person I can connect with? What is that one thing I can start? What is that one thing I can stop? What is that one person I can connect with? And let me ask someone to share. Who wants to share with us? Just tell me one thing that you're willing to start today, just based on what you've heard so far. What is that one thing that you feel that you can start, that can move you forward in fulfilling what God has called you to fulfill? Who wants to respond? If you're online, you can actually send in the chat. Or we're still thinking about it. I can see Adela's face. She's so serious. Like, what's that one thing? Who wants to share? I want us to actually share. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. Thank you. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. And how soon are you willing to start that? The reason that why I'm saying that is you might think it's just about encouraging people, but that might not be the end to it. That might just be the starting point of something. That's the starting point of something. You might not know. But if you stay faithful to it, you will now receive a clearer picture on why your heart desires to do that kind of thing. In fact, I sense that there might be people who have questions in their heart, and you might find them coming to you every time for answers. Sometimes you might feel like maybe I'm not a speaker, I'm not a teacher. Why are these people coming to me for something? Why are they coming to me for wisdom? It's because there is something bigger. There's a bigger plan that God has, okay, with what he wants to do with you. But maybe this is the level that you can understand or comprehend now. And that's why I said, okay, don't worry, you just start from there. And as you continue being faithful with it, you will see that you will get clearer pictures. I won't be surprised if one day you get another bigger idea from that small thing. It's possible. Thank you so much for sharing that. Who else wants to share with me? What is